Hi, welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. You all know that I have moved into my new sewing room, and for the past couple of months I've been slowly building furniture and adding bits in and waiting for electricians and all sorts of things. So yesterday everything was finally completed. The electrician's he's finished doing the wiring and the lighting for me, and all my shelving has been built and put where I need it, and the bench tops and things like that I needed are all in place. And since I've moved into this room whilst doing videos, I've intentionally shown you only this section of my room because I wanted to show everything all together. Now I'm going to reveal everything. The best part of the room by far is the island that I use for cutting and measuring and most of my work. So I'm going to take you for a tour now and you can see the rest of my room. Come along. So the first part I'm going to show you is one of the walls in my room. I've purchased these 2x4 shelving units from Ikea and I've laid them on their side. So I've got 1, 2, and then I had actually originally planned on using these 2 single ones standing the correct way, but I ran out of room for all my fabric, so I've ended up sticking them on the top as well, which meant that I could go almost all the way to the ceiling. So I'm getting the best use out of the wall space that I've got here. At the bottom here, I've got a lot of that upholstery fabric that I picked up just before Christmas. I've decided to put my iron in here because I've got a PowerPoint just at the back of this mannequin here. Somewhere, yeah, there it is. So I've got a PowerPoint just at the back of the mannequin, and I've put the lead coming through the cube. That way I've got the iron out of its way and I can just bring it across to my island whenever I need to. Chris and I did discuss having a PowerPoint from the ceiling, but I didn't want to have anything else hanging from the ceiling. You'll see shortly why. This is some fabric I picked up the other day. Somebody gave me a great big box lot of upholstery fabric, and I've got a couple of projects that I'm about to show you with those. So I've got straight into them. My satines that I use for my rock and roll dresses. Just a whole bunch of mostly woven fabric and my upholstery down the bottom. Let me show you the other wall, and this is the window looking at just to the side of our house. Now you'll notice that there are no machines on this side of the room. I made the decision not to have machines on my window wall for a couple of reasons, but let me show you this wall first. So I've got more upholstery fabric down the bottom here. These are my Bunnings shelf unit. Bunnings in Australia is a hardware store. The shelf units are almost identical to Ikea's. The doors and drawers between Ikea and Bunnings will fit each other as well. So there is more upholstery fabric down the bottom there. In our studio, we still have a fair bit of fabric in there as well. These are the only things I've kept from my old sewing room. So the plastic containers, these are right next to my island station, so they're really easy for me to grab when I need them and have everything within easy reach. These little cubes here are from Bunnings, and Ikea have something very similar but thinner, and it also goes on the diagonal, so you're going across that way. And the ones from Bunnings seem to be much more useful. I think they're wine rack or wine bottle compartments, so you just actually buy the cross section there and stick it inside your cube. I've got a couple here, so that gives me a little bit of extra shelving for my smaller bits and pieces. I'm still sorting out where I'm going to put things. The stuff in here is what I plan on sewing today. That's a video that's coming up, and along the top here I still have room to put a couple more shelf units if I need to. I'm pretty certain that I'm going to need to because I've got a lot of fabric that I still need to bring in from the shop and also from my other sewing areas. I'm going to show you the bottom section of my island before I show you everything in position. These are the same cube shelves that I've got on my side walls, and all I've done is put in some drawers and the wine racks again and a couple of doors. So these fit in the units really easily. I've just got some scrap upholstery fabric in here. I think in these drawers I've got mostly scissors and cutters, and then just anything else I need to hide away as well. On the other side I've got exactly the same. Now what I've done here, I've used the wine racks to store all my interfacings and paper rolls and that sort of thing. And I'll show you the other side of this as well. This is actually 2 units, which I'll show you shortly. This here is the other side of the shelf unit. And you can see that my fabric rolls or my interfacing rolls come right all the way through. So what I actually have here are 2 of those 2x4 units. These are the ones from Bunnings, but Ikea ones are exactly the same. And I've put 2 of them back to back, and that enables me to have the width of the 2 units, which allows me to store all that interfacing laying down underneath. So I've got those wine racks on both sides, and that enables all my rolls to be able to sit nice and flat within each individual wine slot. We did have a bit of a mishap in here. I've gone and put casters on the outside corners. I didn't put any in the centre, and the whole thing bowed. So my doors started going out of shape and all sorts of things. And I decided I actually needed to have a baseboard underneath. So yesterday I went to the local cabinet maker. He cut me up a board for underneath, and I've got some extra casters and put those underneath. The Ikea and Bunnings cube shelves on their own and just not sturdy enough to be able to screw wheels straight into it. One of the wheels actually fell off. If you're going to make something like this, I really do recommend you getting a baseboard just to be able to screw anything into, and it'll just give the whole unit so much more support. So without further ado, here is my island in the middle of the room. So as I've said, I've got a baseboard underneath. I've put a couple of plates in on the side to keep the 2 units together. I purchased a really large cutting mat a few weeks ago, which was actually too big for my table. So I've got this top custom made. It fits the width of my cutting mat perfectly, and then I've got an overhang all the way around. I've made sure I've got rounded edges here because I'm a bit of a klutz and I'll bump into these corners all the time. So I did get rounded edges put on these. I've got enough of an overhang to accommodate my entire cutting mat, but I can still get into my drawers as well. So I've got patterns in here. So I'm really, really happy with this. I just love it. And this wall over here is the part of the room that you have been allowed to see. These 2 cabinets are temporary. I've actually got a couple of sets of drawers that we purchased for this room, but we're using them at the moment. So I'm just using a couple of old bedside tables, and I've got a board cut to size for my 2 sewing machines over here, my overlocker or serger, and my zigzag machine or domestic sewing machine. And then over here we have my industrial straight stitch machine. Along the wall, I've gone and put in the Ikea pegboard unit, and that still needs a little bit of work. I did get a whole heap of pegboard bits and pieces to attach to it, but I didn't like how they worked, so I'm going to take those back and I'll just stick with some really small hooks. But I've managed to get most of my zips up here, my threads, and just a couple of basic things that I use all the time. And I've got a small one and put that on the small wall as well. So I'm using up as much space as I can. I don't feel as though I need to put any more pegboards up here. I've got a lot of things in those drawers, so I really don't think I need to have anything else hanging on the wall. So all the lighting was finished yesterday, and over the top of the machines I've got 3 downlights, which just provide some amazing lighting over the sewing area. It prevents it from casting too many shadows over my work, so it's been great. And in the middle of the room yesterday, the electrician came in. He's installed these track lights for me, which are completely adjustable. I can have 1 or 3 or whatever I like, and I can move them around anywhere along the track, which have been fantastic. And then so that I wouldn't have my tripod falling on my head or sliding off the table, I actually went out and bought a projector stand which will hold my camera. So I no longer will have cameras falling on my head or falling off the table. And there we go as we walk into the room. Now you can see my window straight across there, and this is where the entrance to the room is. So the main reason why I don't want to have sewing machines under my window is that I don't want people sneaking up behind me. It's great to have a view, but look, all I'm going to have a view of is the side fence. I've watched way too many horror movies and had too many people sneak up on me, so my sewing station is right where it needs to be so that I know if people are coming into my room or not. By far the best thing in my room is this island bench. That's just a little ironing board that I'll put on top of the table up here, so my cord will come across and I can just do any pressing of fabric that I need to. And I also have another foldable ironing board on the wall over there. But I'm Really, really loving this room. So there we have it. My sewing studio is all completely finished now. This room has come up exactly the way I thought it would. I had drawn out all the plans of where I wanted to place everything. I think once I've gone through all the fabric stash that I have got hidden away at the shop and outside, I might actually need another room. Chris, I'm coming for your shed. I love this room. It is so much easier to work in here. I've got so much space. I can just spread out all my fabric and do all sorts of things here. Everything is just really good. It's not going to be backbreaking. Everything is just perfect. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you like my room as much as I do, and I shall catch you next time. Bye for now.